Good morning, everyone. So, for today, before we proceed our class, please stand up and pick up a pieces of paper under your chairs. So, please stand up for our prayer. Mr. Cordafio, will you please lead the prayer? Amen. So, you may now take your seat. So, please arrange your chairs properly. So, class monitor, do we have absent for today? Okay, very good. Since no one is absent for today, give yourselves 3 claps. 1, 2, 3. So, very good. So, before we proceed to our final for our discussion this morning, I just want you to be reminded with our classroom rules. So, it is very important. Number 1, listen when someone is talking because it is very important to listen, right? Number 2, raise your hand before speaking. So, if you want to say something, if you want to answer, just raise your hand. Number 3 is participate in the class discussion and activities because this morning we will discuss a lot of things and later on we will have our group and individual activities. So, please participate. And number 4, don't forget is respect each other. So, moving forward, so who among you remembered our topic yesterday? Oh, Miss Cordafio? Mr. Cordafio, do you remember our topic yesterday? Okay, very good. So basically, what we have discussed yesterday is all about connective words. So, Miss Ira, what do you think connective words are? Okay, very good. According to this, connective words are words or phrases that link sentences. So basically, connectives can be a conjunctions, prepositions, or adverbs, and we use them constantly in written and spoken English. So, what are the examples of connective words? Can you give some? Okay, very good. So basically, these are the examples of linking words. We have this for opinion, for concession, purpose, for the consequence, contrast, adding ideas, explaining, condition, and choice. So now, what can you say about this photo? This one. What can you say about that? The other person saying that it's a 6. But the other person is saying it's a 9. So, any idea about this? Or can you give some opinion about that one? Okay, that's right. Well, later on, we will discover what does it mean. So, basically, so we have our objective for this morning. So, at the end of this lesson, you would be able to define argumentative essay. Since this morning, we're going to discuss about argumentative essay. And the next one is, later on, you are going to create your own. Do you understand that, Marco? Okay, very good. Excellent. So, the next is, our last objective for this morning is, you would be able to realize the importance of argumentative essay. So, basically, let's figure out what is the essence or what is the implication of this argumentative essay in our daily life or daily living. So, I have here the activity. So, in this activity, you are going to say it's a yes or it's a no. So basically, when you say it's a yes, meaning to say the statement or in the statement you are agreeing. While if you are not agreeing to the sentence or to the statement, you are going to answer it's a no. Do you understand that, class? Okay, very good. So number 1 is TikTok is better than Facebook. It's a yes or it's a no. Okay. Number 2, online class is better than face-to-face class. What is your answer, Cordafio? Okay, that's right. Number 3, no limitangere is better than el filibusterismo. So, yes, Aika, what is your evidence in saying that no limitangere is better than el filibusterismo? Okay, That's excellent. What about number 4? Oppo is better than Vivo. It's a yes or it's a no? Okay, very good. Number 5. Cookery is better than carpentry. Okay, what's your answer, Marco? Okay, very good. So, what you have observed in our activity? Yes, that's right. So, some of you are agreeing to the statements and some of you also are not agreeing. So, meaning to say, your opinions are all different from each other. So, basically, that's what we're going to discuss this morning. So, I'm so sorry for having a technical difficulties with my presentation. So, I want you to watch this video. Well, this video is actually a debate and listen to this one. Okay, very good. After listening and watching to that particular debate, well, basically it is all about should schools require students to wear uniforms. So in the video you have watched, who is against or who is not favoring with the wearing of uniforms? Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3, 19, 20. So who is against? Okay, very good. Against is the girl. So, who is that against, rather? Or who is favoring to wearing of uniforms? Of course, the boy. So, who among you? 1, 2, 26. Okay, of course. So, now, what is your own stand in that particular topic? Okay, will you please, Rolona? Okay, give your answer, Rolona. So, what is your stand about this one? Are you favor with our wearing uniforms or not? Okay, so very good. So now, let's move on with our presentation, with our formal discussion this morning. So basically, our discussion for this morning is all about argumentative essay. So of course, it was prepared by me. And now, let's move on to the next slide. So, what are the contents of these presentations? So, basically, we're going to discuss, of course, the argumentative essay, the parts, of course, the steps, and later on, I'm going to give you examples and the tips, since our goal here is to write an argumentative essay. So, again, our objective is to define. Later on, I'm going to ask you what is the meaning of what does argumentative essay mean. Create your own. So it is very important that you are going to listen with me. And the next one is realize the importance. So you would be able to realize the importance of the argumentative essay. So right now, before we formally proceed, I want you to unlock these terms. So number 1 is counterclaim. So when we say counterclaim, it means that a claim made to rebut a previous claim. Do you understand it, class? Very good. Rebuttal. A statement that says or proves that something is not true. So take note of that, or write this one, write these definition of terms, because it is very important in our discussion later on. So now let's move on to the next slide. So what does argumentative essay mean? So let's define first the argumentative and the essay. When we say argumentative, having or showing a tendency to disagree or to agree, right? And essay means a short piece of writing a particular subject. So what does argumentative essay mean? So basically, it is a kind of writing that aims to make the reader agree with the writer's opinion about the controversial or a debatable issue. So the purpose of argumentative essay here is not to fight. It's not to fight your reader or not to fight with your audience, but to convince them what you are saying in your essay. Do you understand that, class? Excellent. So, now, what is your stand in the issue. So basically, the argumentative essay is pertaining to what's your stand. Do you agree or do you disagree? Do you understand that, class? Okay, very good. So let's move on to the next slide, which pertains to the structure, or in order for us to clearly understand the argumentative essay. So there's an issue that is discussing in the particular piece. So basically, this one, which is very relevant to you, implementation of using mobile phone in grade 10 students. So in writing argumentative essay, it's either you agree that you let students use their phones and you disagree in using mobile phones of grade 10 students. So do you understand what argumentative essay means and its purpose? Excellent. So let's move on to the next slide. So basically, there are parts in writing essay that you have to remember and you have to take into consideration once you are writing or when you are writing argumentative essay. Number one is your introduction. So when we say introduction, of course, it is found in the very first part of your argumentative essay. So what does introduction contains? So what are the information can be seen in that introduction? So basically, give background information. So what's your topic all about? So you have to give your readers an information or background information about what you are about to discuss in your essay. And then introduce the problem. So since there is an issue, you have to introduce the problem in your essay. So that can be found also in introduction. Do you understand, class? Indeed, very good. And then state your claim or thesis statement. Once we say claim or thesis statement, that's your stand. It's either you agree or you very good. It's either you disagree. So basically, that is what introduction all about and the things that you are going to discuss. So now, let's proceed to the second part, which is the body. So in body, there is what we call ICE method. So ICE method, I stands for introduce your evidences. So in body, of course, you are going to discuss your evidences. And of course, you have to introduce your those claims or those evidences proving that you disagree or you agree. And then the letter C stands for cite the details of evidence. So of course, you are going to discuss the details proving that your evidence is relevant to the issue. And letter E stands for explain why detailed evidence mentioned is important. Of course, in order for your readers to understand your point or your evidences, you have to explain them. So don't forget this ICE method. So I have here the example. So COVID-19 is a virus detected in China that brought pandemic. So basically, that's what I for. Introduce your evidence. So here, he discussed about, of course, about COVID-19 that is from China that brought, very good, that brought pandemic. So in letter C, it says that cite the details or evidence. So you can use the connective words that we have discussed yesterday. According, right? According to the study of World Health Organization, it is a virus coming from a bat. So that's one of the details he discussed. And then explain why it is very important or relevant to your issue or to your point. Here, he said that this implies that bats should not be eaten because it may brought us viruses. So, do you convince with the saying or with the body? Of course. So, basically, you have to understand or you have to follow this ICE method in writing your body. So, if you have another evidence proving about the said topic, well, in this case is COVID-19, you can also use ICE in each paragraph. Do you understand, class? Great. So let's move on to the next slide. Well, it's basically also in body. So in body, since this is very important because this is where you're going to prove your point, so there are types of evidences that you may use in your paper. So your claim or your argument, it might be came from your prior knowledge. So when we say prior knowledge, these are the knowledge that you have learned before. Let's say, according to my teacher, right? And according to what I have learned from my 5th grade, right? So those are the examples of prior knowledge. And there is also called reliable books and articles. So according to the book titled something like that, so you may use that because it is one of your evidences that it is written, right? So next is, okay, I have a technical problem, so this is really important to address. So do you understand, class? Okay, what does argumentative essay mean again? Okay, very good, Cordapio. So far, what are the parts that we have discussed this morning? Okay, very good. So, right, it is very important that you have point to address, right? So, let me just, okay, there's a problem with this thing. So, ano ba yan? Okay, very good, class. So, again, we have this from our evidence that we can cite experts' opinion. So, according to the doctor, according to the scientist, right? So, you can cite that in your body. Do you understand, class? Excellent. So, now, let's proceed to the next slide, of course. So, it also pertains to a body. So, basically, we have this issue. Of course, you are going to discuss. The example issue here is, mayors should not skip the COVID-19 vaccine line since they are not in the priority list. So, that's our issue, right? So, we have this counterclaim. So, we may include counterclaim and rebuttal in our discussion or what we have discussed earlier, right? So, in counterclaim, you may say that others might say that mayors should not get vaccinated as they are influencers. What you have to rebut that idea since it is a counter, it is debunking your argument. So you may say that, but due to the limited supply of COVID-19 vaccines, frontliners and the most vulnerable must be prioritized. So that's how it works when we say counterclaim and rebuttal. Do you understand, class? Excellent. So let's proceed to another, or to the next slide rather. So there is a last part or the third part which pertains to, of course, conclusion. So Mr. Marco, will you please read the conclusion? Okay, thank you. So basically, a general statement that supports your claim or thesis statement. So you have to conclude why you are agreeing or why you are disagreeing to a particular issue. The next one is, you may end your conclusion in a quotation, right? So it's up to you how you convince or how you conclude your argument, right? And you may also say, or you may also state the call to attention. When we say call to attention is, or call to action rather, you are asking your readers to what happened or what will happen next if you're going to agree or if you're going to disagree. And the next one is, which is what I love in writing argumentative essay, is asking a question. So you leave your readers a question, whether they disagree, whether they agree. right? So here, conclusion, it sum up your argument. Sum up your argument. Of course, you have to summarize what you have discussed in your body and leave your audience convinced. Since we have discussed earlier that argumentative essay is for your readers to be convinced. So you have to convince your readers or your audience. And don't add any new information. So since you have discussed a lot of things, a lot of evidences in your body, don't add any information in your conclusion because it might be not convincing to your listener or to your readers. Do you understand that, class? Okay, excellent. So now let's proceed to the next slide, of course. So the next slides pertains to, so how are we going to make our argumentative essay? So basically, number one, you have to formulate your claim or argument on the issue. So there is already an issue. Just like our example earlier, the using of mobile phones. So since we have that issue, formulate your claim. Do you disagree or do you agree? Do you understand, class? Excellent. Number two is look for evidence to support your claim or argument. So just like what we have discussed earlier, you can state your claims by your prior knowledge, from the books or articles, or from the experts. And number three is write your argument following the format discussed. So since there is an issue, you have the claim or you have the argument, you have the evidences, then you are ready to write your argumentative essay. So following the formats, which are the introduction, the body, and conclusion. Do you understand, class? Great, that's nice. So now let's proceed to the example of argumentative essay. So here, I'm going to present with you an example of argumentative essay. So here, there is an issue. So there is an issue. The public display industry keeps many species of marine mammals captive in concrete tanks, right? Especially whales and dolphins. So we have this introduction. So introduction, the author or the writer is explaining what marine mammals should all about. So because you have to give your readers information about your topic, right? Or your argument. So in this case, he wrote, marine mammals have the right to be kept in their natural environment. So this in this part, he already stated the author's claim or the writer's claim in that particular issue. Of course, there's a body, so the reason, captivity causes many health problems in marine mammals. So that's can be found in body, or he is discussing the author's or the writer's evidences. And the next one, of course, you have to cite many evidences. So here, reason 2, then you have to support your ideas. And reason 3, you have also to support that details. So, of course, there is in explaining your body, there is what we call, the writer included the counterclaim and the rebuttal. Since this is very important in your body for your readers to be convinced of what you're saying. Do you understand that, class? Nice. So, of course, the last part is the conclusion. So here, restate your opinion. So here, restate his argument or his opinion about the issue. Since conclusion is all about summarizing your ideas. So, call to action. So what are you going to do now? Since I am disagreeing with this issue. And then, he also included the quotation. Just like what I have mentioned earlier, there's a quotation which also related to the topic or to the claim of the writer. So now, let's proceed to the writing tips. So in writing, there are tips for our lives to be easy, right? So in writing, I'm pertaining to the writing argumentative essay. So number 1, or the first tip is, choose a topic that can be supported with evidence. Of course, when you are choosing the topic, there must be evidences or there must be supporting details that is presented already or that you have known, because it is very it's hard or it's difficult that you wrote a particular claim with no evidences, right? Do you understand? Very good. The next one is choose a topic that you find interesting. So, in this case, you have to write arguments that are interesting or that are relevant. So, just like now, the COVID-19, the vaccination, and the trending of TikTok, etc., etc. So, the next one is choose a topic that doesn't get you too heated. So, what does it mean? So, basically, you choose your topic that you are confident discussing with. Right? Okay. And the next one is always know your audience. Since this is about writing, you have to know your audience. Is it for your classmates? Is it for mothers? For fathers? So that you would have the idea on how you approach, on how you write your essay. Do you understand that, class? Okay, very good. So again, let's proceed to the next slide. So it's saying, are you ready to write, class? So after knowing those things, are you ready to write? Okay, that's great to know. So let's proceed to the next slide again. So here, we are going to have our activity. So basically, we have our groups, right? So this is the group 1 and this is the group 2. So we're going to have our debate. So what does our debate all about? So implementation of using mobile phone among grade 10 students. So group 1, you are agree, right? You are agree to this using of mobile phones, and group 2, you are disagree to this statement. So you have 5 minutes to formulate your concepts or your evidences. And while doing that, you have to keep quiet while working. Participate in your group since we have recording later on, and listen to each other's suggestion. Not only the leader or not only Cordafio or Cordafia will facilitate the group activity. So you have 5 minutes. Okay, very good. Are you through, class? Very good. So, group 1, state your claim. Okay, group 2. So what can you say about the group 2, group 1? Okay, group 2. Okay, very good. You did a great job. So give yourselves a round of applause. So please arrange your chair properly. Okay. So it seems like you understood our topic and what you have observed in our activity. Yes. So, right. Since your purpose is to convince each other, you are presenting a lot of things or a lot of evidences. So that's nice. It is very useful in creating your argumentative essay later on. So the next one is, well, this is an individual activity. So get 1 half sheet of paper and answer this one in about 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, are you through, class? Very good. So now, who wants to answer number 1? So number 1 is, what are the parts of argumentative essay? So, Cordafi, what are the parts? Okay, very good. We have, okay, introduction, body, and conclusion. Number 2, it is a claim made to rebut a previous claim. Of course, very good. That's right. Number 3, very good. What about number 4? Okay, very good. So, number 5, what ICE stands for? Okay, excellent. So, okay, you have to return the paper to the owner. So, who among you got 10? 9? What about 8? What about 7 below? Yes, that's great. So, it seems like you understood our topic. So, now, let's move on. And don't forget to pass your paper in front because I'm going to record that later on. So, now, here, what do you think is the importance of knowing argumentative essay? Yes, of course. So, knowing argumentative essay, we learn how to convince people properly by citing evidences or relevant ideas. Again, so what else? What else is the importance of knowing argumentative essay? Yes, that's very good. So we have to be professional in communication. We have to validate, since nowadays there are a lot of news, there are a lot of, we have to evaluate whether our evidences or the information stated on social media are true or correct. So now, let's proceed. So that's very important. So now, what do you think? So that's it. What do you think is the importance? So here, let's go back to this photo, which is, it's 6, it's 9. So what does it mean now, since we learned about argumentative essay? Very good. So it basically implies that it doesn't mean that you are right, others are wrong. Because maybe both of you are correct, but you are just seeing different lenses in society. Do you understand, class? Very good. So now let's proceed to the next activity. So who can summarize? Who can summarize what we have discussed this morning? Okay, very good. Argumentative essay means that you are going to convince people about an argument. Very good. Well, so what information can be found in introduction? Okay, that's right. In body. Okay, very good. And okay, in conclusion. Okay, very good. So, don't forget to copy this one, class, because this one is very important. So now, let's proceed to our summative test, wherein you are going, or your assessment, wherein you are going to define argumentative essay. That's 1 point. Create your own argumentative essay. So in creating your own argumentative essay, you can choose your own topic, right? So this is the criteria. Don't forget. Okay, are you through, class? Okay, so who wants to share their work in front? Okay. Okay, very good. That's right. It's very convincing, right? Okay. So, okay. Who else? Who else? Okay. Mr. Marco? Yes. Okay, very good. So, okay, you did a great job. So, don't forget to pass your papers in front, because I'm going to check that later on. So, give yourselves a round of applause. But before that, this one, I have here your assignment. So basically, in your assignment, what you're going to do is to write an argumentative text about a certain topic that you love sharing with people. So here, you have the freedom to choose your own topic. And since this is assignment, so you have a lot of time to research your evidences, research your supporting details in creating your argumentative essay. So, don't forget that we have this criteria, so that you are guided in creating your own essay. So, that's all for this morning. So, I hope that you enjoy our discussion. And please stand up for our closing prayer. Mr. Marco, will you please read the prayer? Amen. So, now, pick up a pieces of paper under your chairs, arrange your chairs properly, and see you tomorrow. And goodbye.